they're 40-year-olds. They're not young royals.
Well, and
they're different now. The vibe is different. The whole mood and shift.
Oh, buckle up, because this one is explosive. The fall of Prince Harry has been nothing short of jaw-dropping. We're talking about a man who once lived at the very peak of royal privilege. And now, he's tumbling into the gutter of financial desperation. And just when we thought it couldn't get worse, he's gone and shocked the world again. Yes, Harry, once the rebel prince who loudly boasted about financial independence from the crown, the same man who alongside Meghan Markle swore they would build an unstoppable empire, has reportedly made a move so desperate, so outrageous, it left Hollywood gasping. Harry went crawling to one of his former closest friends, none other than David Beckham, begging for a $50 million loan. Let that sink in. $50 million. This isn't just borrowing a little cash for rent, that's bailout level money, the kind of figure that screams absolute financial collapse. And what makes it worse? Beckham, once one of Harry and Meghan's biggest supporters, didn't just politely say no. Oh no, he flatly refused. That brutal rejection is now Harry's latest, and possibly greatest, humiliation.
To George, Charlotte and Louis, and they will become really, frankly, bit part players. Now, they won't like that, and that's probably what this is all about, making sure they've got...
And let's be real, this isn't some isolated hiccup. Harry's been drowning for months, behind those glossy Montecito mansion walls, behind the private jets and designer clothes. Insiders have whispered about a very different reality. The so-called Sussex empire is cracking. Revenues are drying up, deals are turning sour. Bankruptcy rumors? They've been circling for ages. Spotify axed their $20 million podcast partnership. Netflix, once hailed as the Sussex's golden ticket, is reportedly losing interest because their content simply isn't delivering. Add in Meghan's lavish lifestyle and Harry's refusal to cut back on spending, and what do you get? An empire crumbling under its own weight. So when the press caught wind of Harry's potential bankruptcy, let's just say, no one was surprised. What did shock them, though, was Harry's next move. Instead of tightening the purse strings, refinancing, or making smaller, sensible deals, Harry went all in with one outrageous gamble, knocking on Beckham's door with a request so audacious it stunned even his closest allies.
A brand to monetize, because pretty soon they're going to be really so far removed from the main game that they're not going to be able to get as much money out of being royals.
I think Valentine Lowe wrote that in his book, didn't he?
Yes, instead of problem-solving like a grown man, Harry shot for the moon. He went to Beckham, a global icon with unimaginable fortune and influence, and asked him for a jaw-dropping $50 million personal loan. To put that in perspective, that's not help me pay my bills money. That's rebuild my entire lifestyle money. That's bailout money. The fact Harry had the audacity to ask for such an astronomical sum doesn't just show desperation. It exposes just how dire his situation truly is. And then came the slap in the face.
And about saying that Harry did have fears that he might, become irrelevant into his 50s, and they're making a huge noise at the moment.
Yeah.
But he undoubtedly will. He'll be a bald 50-year-old prince that, a gentleman, someone for...
Beckham wasn't having it. He didn't hesitate. He didn't sugarcoat it. He didn't say, maybe later. According to insiders, Beckham flat out refused. And let's not downplay this. Beckham isn't just some random celebrity. He was once Harry's trusted ally, a bridge between the royals and Hollywood's glittering elite. For him to say no, that wasn't just a financial rejection. That was symbolic. It screamed to the world. Harry is no longer someone worth backing. Not financially, not reputationally. That kind of snub cuts deeper than 1,000 tabloid headlines.
That's what he will be. And that will be not the same as they talk about, he's got an appeal with the younger generation. Well, they'll be thinking, who is this guy? They wouldn't even know who he is.
I think it's also trying to kind of make things a bit more positive. I've spoken...
And here's where it gets juicier. This wasn't some sudden fallout. The friendship between the Beckhams and the Sussexes has been hanging by a thread for years. The breaking point? Meghan's alleged accusation that Victoria Beckham had leaked private stories to the press. That rumor reportedly left the Beckhams furious. From then on, the once warm friendship turned frosty. So when Harry came crawling back, hat in hand, begging for $50 million, Beckham's rejection wasn't just about the money. It was about years of mistrust, resentment, and disappointment finally boiling over. Beckham's no wasn't casual. It was final. It was the coffin nail sealing the death of their friendship. And worse, it reshaped Harry's public image overnight.
Journalists in America who were saying how we love a kind of boy or girl done good. And the fact that for Harry and Meghan, for a very long time, a lot of the stories have been negative and around, we felt badly treated by the royal.
And here's the real sting. The image of Prince Harry has been shattered. Once a soldier, a royal, a global symbol of rebellion and independence, now reduced to a begging prince, scrambling for lifelines from celebrity friends. The public doesn't see a man fighting for his family anymore. They see a man stripped of dignity, pleading for survival. The internet is relentless. Headlines are branding him Harry the Borrower. Memes mocking him as the most expensive liability in Hollywood are flooding feeds. The humiliation isn't just financial, it's total, because when you lose money, you lose power. But when you lose dignity, you lose everything. And Harry thought Beckham's rejection would remain private. Oh, how naive.
And certainly with Meghan, look, with the twerking video and her really kind of owning her social media, I think you're seeing that kind of, right, I'm going to be more upbeat, I'm going to be positive. And we're sort of waiting for more of that, I think, from Harry.
But then, of course, they're already...
Because let's be honest, in Hollywood, nothing stays secret. Not for a minute. The Beckham snub didn't just leak. It erupted. It spread like wildfire through the celebrity whisper network. Agents, producers, investors, boardrooms, gossip columns, TikTok, Twitter. Within days, it wasn't just another rumor. It became the story defining Harry's downfall. In Los Angeles, reputation is currency. And the whisper network? Brutal. Once word got out that Harry begged Beckham for $50 million and was refused, it became a cautionary tale. If Beckham, the golden boy of branding and influence, wouldn't back Harry, why would anyone else? Suddenly, producers stopped seeing the Sussexes as power players. They weren't the glittering couple who once promised Hollywood gold. They were liabilities, risks, a toxic brand.
Game on this, the Sussexes, because they're doing their branding for their two children. She's writing a diary entry every night to Archie and Lilibet. I wonder what that's for, the diary of Archie and Lilibet. I don't know, it's a nice book. But they know that...
And that's the harsh truth. The Sussexes brand is no longer an investment. It's a joke. Harry and Meghan have gone from glamorous outsiders to cautionary tales. Even their once loyal supporters are questioning, how does a man born into unimaginable privilege who signed multi-million-dollar Netflix and Spotify deals end up teetering on bankruptcy? The answer is brutal in its simplicity. Reckless spending, a $14 million Montecito mansion, endless private jet trips, armies of PR teams and lawyers. Instead of building something sustainable, they burned cash like it was confetti. This isn't bad luck. This is bad decision after bad decision, and now the empire they bragged about is collapsing. And let's not forget Meghan. For her, the optics are catastrophic. Her entire Hollywood brand has been built on power, glamour, and control. She wanted to be the tastemaker, the cultural force, the Hollywood queen bee. But this Beckham saga, it blows her image to pieces. What's glamorous about begging for $50 million? What's powerful about being rejected flat out by an old friend? Overnight, Meghan and Harry's carefully curated image has collapsed. Instead of Hollywood royalty, they look like out-of-touch celebrities who can't manage their own lives. And then comes the sting Harry can't ignore, the palace's quiet satisfaction. Remember when Harry and Meghan stormed out of royal life? They promised freedom, independence, no more crown controlling their wallets. They painted the monarchy as restrictive, outdated, even toxic. But now, with bankruptcy whispers and bailout pleas, they've proven their critics right. The palace didn't have to lift a finger. Harry's own actions did the job. The boy who cried freedom has discovered that freedom is very, very expensive. And the monarchy? Quietly vindicated. Behind those palace walls, you can almost hear the whispers. We told you so. This isn't just a scandal of the week. It's the kind that sticks, the kind that scars. When people look at Harry now, they don't see the rebel prince, the war hero, or the philanthropist. They see a man stripped of dignity, begging, rejected, humiliated by David Beckham of all people. And here's the cruelest twist. Perception is everything. In Hollywood, once your name becomes tied to desperation and failure, the doors don't just close. They slam shut, and they lock. The Beckham loan saga might well be the turning point, not the moment Harry and Meghan were seen as controversial. No, the moment they became irrelevant. And while Beckham's rejection was humiliating enough, the public's reaction has been downright savage. Social media has exploded. Twitter memes call him Harry the Beggar. TikTok edits stitched together his speeches about financial independence with captions like, "Freedom costs more than you thought, Harry. Ha!" Even Netflix subscribers are piling on. Maybe if your shows weren't so boring, you wouldn't need a bailout. The verdict is crystal clear. Harry isn't just being criticized anymore, he's being laughed at. And in the court of public opinion, laughter cuts deeper than hate. Because once you become the punchline of your own downfall, there's no way back.